Welcome back to another deep dive where I go over anything and everything FPS related, whether that's Call of Duty, Destiny, X-Defiant, or anything that I'm just kind of interested in and feel like I want to share to you guys. So let's find out what we're diving into now, shall we? So September is National Suicide Prevention Month, and this kind of strikes close to me at home because if you guys didn't know, I had 3 friends take their life at a very young age, all before the age of 25, and they were smart, they were kind, they were funny, and honestly, they were just better humans than me. So please understand, when you see somebody, you don't really know what they're going through, and you don't know how close they are to that breaking point. But let's start spreading love and not hate, and that's exactly why I like to end out all the videos, challenge you guys to make somebody laugh today and to be a light in someone's life, because you never know what someone is actually going through. And I just love that the boys over at OpTic are doing something about this in honor of Suicide Prevention Month. The OpTic boys are going to be hosting the 2nd season of the off season, and just like last year when they did this, we're going to be seeing the return of some old school games, an open Super Smash Brothers event, a Guitar Hero competition, and honestly just so much more, all in collaboration and backed by Jack's Links. So let's just run the trailer, shall we?
These teams scum for trying to make moves. How does he keep doing this? That is a really bad sign that he's smiling, Ryan. You did it! I was wondering. How did he do that? He's but a mouse.
The reset off the down near the corner, and he did it! Kiyoshi has done it!
Last one.
Oh, let's go!
Will!
Oh, dude, y'all crushed it. Y'all killed it. That was great.
Now coming back to this video, I'm sorry I was a little emotional. I was kind of upset just talking about my 3 friends. But coming back to this, and on a more positive note, I need to know, does Hitch actually know how to play the guitar like this, or is he just really good at playing the air guitar? Either way, for Blake, for George, for Hitch, for all the boys over at OpTic, I absolutely love this. I back this. And make sure you tune in on September 23rd. And if you can, give back no matter how big or how small. Now, I know in my last video I said I wouldn't talk about the flank drama, that it had already been resolved, and that is mostly true. But Doug, Censor, Martin, and Zoomaa went on stream last night while they were watching the FaZe boys play some Black Ops 3. And honestly, Doug was preaching. And I think as content creators, as streamers, we all need to hear this.
Well, that was the thing as a creator that motivated me. Just speaking for me, I think everyone in this chat, on my stream and your stream and you and Ben and anyone, like, I joined FaZe back 10 years back, and I knew that if I associated with the guys and I'm doing things with them, I'm getting more views, right? Like that's just the way it's going to be because they bring the views. So what is bringing the views here? The flank. I also knew that I had to do something outside of phase and outside of, I can't be defined by one thing. That was the thing that I was always trying to tell myself. I can't just rely on phase claim or my ex-girlfriend making videos with her. I got to figure out something else I got to do for myself to justify my time so that I'm not just pushing something onto other people all the time.
If somebody told me to join your call on my stream, what's up?
And bro, obviously, I love the flank and want to run more episodes. And I know Doug Censor Martin gets clowned on a lot in the COD scene, but honestly, the guy, what he was just talking to Tom about, is wise beyond his years. I have seen this on Twitter that more and more people are trying to get an org to notice them and to want to sign them or have a sponsorship with like Gamer Subs or G Fuel or anything like that. And they want to get noticed, but they never really understand why an org would notice them. And truthfully, 99% of the time, it's not about your gameplay. It's not about how much cleavage you show on the screen. Instead, it's purely about numbers and how as a brand, how as a business as a brand do you match and fit their business and their brand? And most importantly, how can you make them more money than they're gonna pay you? So we need not to become dependent on these sponsors, but instead you need to focus on growing yourself as a brand and having leverage to bring to the table so to make sure that you're fairly compensated with the work that you put in, and ultimately you're growing yourself and diversifying your brand and your income as much as you can. That way you're not dependent on anyone, and effectively you can rely on yourself and maybe have the privilege to have others start to rely on you.
Do you watch other talk shows in sports, like First Take and Undisputed and like something
Sometimes,
that's
yeah.
comparable to you, but just in a different category that's not Call of Duty?
Yeah,
So when I
sometimes,
watch
yeah.
those, I'm really big into those. Like I watch those more than I watch. Like I play the game, I study the game, and then I watch sports talk show stuff a lot. And what I noticed throughout the years, whenever it's in the off season for basketball or football, there's not much to talk about in those shows. It's the same problem that you have as well. It's a good problem to have because you're the number one talk show host in Call of Duty for the most part, right? Like I think you guys are doing a great job. And during an off season, it's just as simple as what's this, what I need to know. We all seem to be on the same page, but what is the disconnect with Ben that makes it so that it's quality over quantity? He understands that. He's smart. So I don't understand why there's that much of a disconnect
I don't
in the
know.
offseason.
I talked to Ben this morning. We were on a call and I was like, bro, why don't you just call me on the phone? And he just doesn't say anything. I'm like, bro, just call me on the phone. Like, and he's like, it's just an execution thing. And I was like, well, bro, call me on the phone. Like, why do I got to wake up and look at clips of you on stream? Like,
now, I do see the flank as like the first take of COD, that Zoomaa is the Stephen A. Smith of first take, that he is the most popular COD talking figure in the league. And I agree kind of with Ben here and kind of what Doug is saying, that like a weekly show or a bi-weekly show is not a bad thing. And I understand that Tom thinks and knows, I should say, that the flank was built on competitive COD. But talking about Warzone is Call of Duty at the day, and it is competitive COD. It may be a little different, but it's just like the football season turning into the basketball season, that I think having these little talking points and having consistent shows is a good thing. But with that said, I do understand the need and the importance for Tommy to have some time off from doing the flank so that he doesn't get burnt out. But I think in a perfect world, having Zoomaa and Ben having rotating guests, and I mean there's plenty of fun personalities in the league, I'm looking at you, Octane, that I think can lift the show up and not tear people down, because personally that's what I felt like Patty would do. Pat would come on here and just dog Ben the whole time, and I just personally don't think Aches was a good addition to the flank and should be kicked from being a part of the show. He could definitely come back on and being a guest, but it's obvious that Pat doesn't care about anything outside of the top four, and anytime he can, he's talking about a game that's going to be ultimately seen as a COD competitor. So I just think it's a conflict of interest.
Like,
and you're the head guy at the show too. Like Aches is on your show and he's there basically the whole time, right? Like with you in terms of the time, like you both are spending the same amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, listen, people have their complaints about Pat, whatever. Ben has his complaints about Pat, whatever. For me, I just tell the co-host, just be there at the start of the show to the end of the show. Just be there for the show. It's what they get paid for. They get paid to be on the show. Just make sure you're on the show and also watch the games. I think Ben gets mad at Pat because sometimes he doesn't watch the games, which is fair. Like, I tell Pat all the time too, like, you got to watch the games. Pat doesn't give a fuck about anything unless it's the top 4 teams. Which is why,
Pat just cares about winning, and he only cares about who's number one. He doesn't care about anything else. Like,
right,
that's how he's always been with everything. So,
right,
that's
so
just how he is. But
yeah,
Pat, even with Pat though, because he would do the flank with you every week, and then he would do the reverse sweep with me at night after the flank, and he didn't make excuses. He didn't cry about it. He didn't say anything. But I could definitely tell that he put a lot of time and effort into managing everything he was doing, you know, because he would do the show with me last after doing the flank with you, after doing his full-time job during the day. And he never complained. He never pushed anything onto you or his job. He would get it done. But you could tell that he was definitely getting burnt out because of the amount of hours he put into it. So I think for you, Tom, you got to enjoy your life while you have time to do it, because you know when that season starts, just like as the players, you got to cover it equally with the media and the content. So
right, and
you know it better than everyone else.
And with that said, I love the flank. I love Zoomaa. I love Ben. They're the ones who got me into competitive Call of Duty in the first place. And heck, I even got Ben J's Nassim's freaking autograph on my Xbox controller. Now, granted, I would have loved to have gotten the whole crew and got like Parasite or Zoomaa up on here, but Parasite just straight up said no, and Zoomaa was too busy, you know, running the flank. And the story behind this is when I went to champs. You can see up at the top, 2023 COD champs. And it was kind of cool. I got Pamaja's signature, Aiden's, TP's, T-Dog's, Benjay, Nassim, Asim. I think this is pretty cool, and I'm going to try to take this to as many COD events as I can and just continuously have this thing signed. Now, before we go, let's hit some fun facts as we wrap up this video. Here is a little sneak peek of a map that's going to be coming out in the first year of XDefiant's release. It is called Air and Space, which I guess is supposed to be a love letter to the aerospace or avionics, because we could see the evolution to planes, how there's some like skeletal outlines, and we move over, there's a rover that seems to be on some type of Martian looking terrain. But Mark Rubin actually confirms on Twitter that the Air and Space will not be a part of Season 1's release, but a later release in the year. If we keep going on this trail, we keep pulling this tail, we see that he confirms on Reddit that Season 1 will have a much smaller map, something reminiscent of a shipment map more than anything. So ideally, we should be seeing XDefiant release sometime before September 22nd, and hopefully, my fingers are crossed, we can get our hands on the game then. And as of recording this video, it is Saturday, so why don't we run through the NFL predictions and see how wrong we are. First, we have the Bengals and the Browns, and I gotta go with the Bengals by a touchdown and a field goal. We have the Texans and Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson is gonna show up and show out. We have the Buccaneers and Vikings, and I really don't care about this game, but let's go Vikings by 7. Then we have the Panthers and Falcons, and I'm a Georgia boy from the South, so I am a Falcons fan, so I have to go with the Falcons, but I'm not very confident on this, but let's go with Atlanta by 3. Now, honestly, I want to see the Jags beat the Colts, but for those who watch it, I think this is going to be a fun game to watch. We'll say the Jags by 3. Then we have who I think is a team going to be in the Super Bowl. We're going to have the 49ers, and I straight up think they're going to smash the Steelers by at least 2 touchdowns. We have the Titans and Saints. Let's go Titans by 3. I really don't care about this game too much. Then, unfortunately, Broncos Nation, get ready for a whole ass another year of defeat. Russ ain't doing shit, and Raiders are going to win this by 10. Then we have the Eagles. I think this is going to be a team that's going to be facing off against the 49ers in the Super Bowl. So, yeah, Eagles dominate the Patriots here. I'm saying Eagles by 10. And then we have the Rams and the Seahawks, and I want my Georgia boys to win, so let's go Rams. Following that game up, we have the Dolphins, who have a lot to prove this year, especially Tua, and they have to start off by going against a solid Justin Herbert and the Chargers, and I think this is going to be one of the best games of the weekend, and I don't know how to call it, but my gut is saying to go with the Chargers, so I'm going Justin Herbert and the Chargers by 1. Then we have the Cheeseheads versus the Bears. My mama is a fan of the Bears, so I can't piss off my mama, so we're saying the Bears by 10. Then we have America's team taking on the Giants. And I think Dak is going to have to prove that he deserves a spot in the league, because if he has another year that's remotely as close as bad as the previous year, I think he is out of the league for good. But with that said, I do have the Cowboys winning this by 3. Then we have the last game of the night, the one that I am looking forward to the absolute most. We have the Bills versus the Jets. We have Josh Allen versus Aaron Rodgers. And I may be a Falcons fan, but I freaking love Josh Allen, and honestly the craziness that is the Bills Mafia. If I could have a team that is not the Atlanta Falcons, I think it would be the Bills. So with that said, I'm going to go with the Bills by 2 touchdowns. I'm going to add this in the posted note that I also think Aaron Rodgers is the most incredibly overrated quarterback. As somebody who has won championships, regular season wins doesn't mean shit. That's all Aaron has ever done. However, we're going to see how wrong I am, and next week, let's put our money where our mouth is and come over on kick.com/Elrod, and let's put some fantasy lineups together, and 100% of the profits will go back into the stream, back into the community, back into you guys, especially for all of those who have supported me along this way. With that said, if you liked the video, you learned anything at all, please like and subscribe. We're on our way to this channel getting to 1,000 subscribers, and if we can get this channel to 1,000 subscribers before the release of Modern Warfare 3, I will buy the community 2 versions of the Vault Edition, the $100 edition of Modern Warfare 3, or we could do 4 copies of the base edition. As a community, we can iron that out as we get closer to that goal. But if you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, come over on kick.com/Rod, like the video, subscribe. If you guys are already a part of the crew, you're already subscribed, share this video with a friend. That way they stay caught up with all the cool shit in and around gaming. As always, I challenge all of you, make somebody laugh today, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.